Middle Tennessee's only primetime news. This is Fox 17 News at 9, your Code Red station.
From my mama's heart, I just knew that she didn't do this to herself.
Tonight in Operation Crime and Justice, the instincts of a mid-state mother leads to a murder confession in a case Metro Police initially considered a suicide. Good evening, everybody. I'm Scott Couch. Megan is off tonight. Well, it is not often when police reverse course like this and go from suicide to murder, but that's what happened in this case. Fox 17 News' Karen Aguilar live at Metro Police headquarters to explain how the confession secured by this grieving mother actually helped police get one of their own.
The mom tells me even though her daughter's death was first ruled a suicide, she found through this lengthy cold case file what she needed to get her son-in-law to confess he killed her. April Holtz, a young mother and wife of Donovan, was found almost lifeless in this apartment complex on Cane Ridge Parkway with a plastic bag taped tightly around her neck. She later died at Southern Hills Hospital. Holt's mother, Jamie Dickerson, was torn apart.
I would do anything to have her back. Anything. She's my baby.
Nothing could bring her daughter back, but Dickerson could bring her daughter justice. What led you to believe that Donovan killed April and it wasn't a suicide?
I knew that April was unhappy. I knew that she requested a divorce 2 weeks prior, and then she was dead 2 weeks later.
Dickerson spent months doing her own investigation after she says police refused to believe her.
This is the first autopsy stating that she had put the bag over her head and that it was suicide.
The key piece of evidence is this. Only Donovan Holt's fingerprints were found on the bag and tape.
That is when I confronted him and he confessed to me. And so that is when I went to the police.
Metro detectives questioned the husband and got a confession. Holt was arrested in Texas last week. He's charged with reckless homicide, false reporting, and tampering with evidence. The autopsy report has been amended to reflect the cause of death as homicide instead of suicide.
I feel like they've failed my family. I have had to fight at the same time as grieve my daughter. Although Holt was charged with reckless homicide, Dickerson wants it to be upped to a higher charge. Reporting live in Nashville, Karen Aguilar, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Police in Mount Juliet tonight are crediting license plate readers with helping them track down a couple of teenagers in a stolen car. Take a look. Police say an LPR alerted officers to this car, reportedly stolen in Jackson, Tennessee, a couple of hours west of here. Now, 2 18-year-olds from Hermitage were taken into custody. Police say the owner of the car was thankful that her vehicle was found.
Dear God, please hear me. Bring justice for these kids.
In Operation Crime and Justice, a plea for just that justice from relatives of a South Nashville murder victim. 18-year-old Yasser Paz was shot to death outside the Bacchanus nightclub earlier this month, but so far no arrests in the case. Fox 17 News' Kylie Walker's downtown, where a vigil was held earlier tonight to honor the lives lost to gun violence here in Nashville.
According to Metro Nashville Police, the teen and his 2 friends were leaving the nightclub on Nolensville Pike around 2:30 in the morning. That's when a car pulled up next to theirs. Multiple men got out and opened fire. Now, community advocates stress that this could really happen to anyone's family, and they would really like to see some change.
The killers are still out there.
An emotional morning as loved ones honor Yasser Paz, who only had 18 short years with his family.
I'm sorry.
They now grieve the life cut too short.
Perdimos a un buen niño. We lost a good child. He was always a good son.
Yasser's mother calling on the violence to stop, desperate for change in the wake of her son's tragic loss.
I have more kids and I don't want the same to happen to them.
Pido justicia.
I'm asking for justice. We need to have more safety in the streets.
South Nashville alone has seen 4 homicides and nearly 50 violent offenses in the last 2 weeks, according to police reports. His grandmother, Maria, urging the police to take action and help put an end to this violence.
Today, it was our family that had to deal with this. I don't want another family to have to go through the same.
Today, we asked MMPD if they'll be increasing their presence in this part of Nashville. MMPD says the South Precinct has the highest call volume, which is why they always have an increased officer presence in the area. Also pointing to the Southeast Precinct, which is slated to open the second half of next year.
My brother did not deserve this. He was a beautiful soul. He was just getting his life started, just for it to end with gun violence.
Melissa Alvarez-Zabriskie with the Tennessee Hispanic Action Network, struggling to find words on behalf of the family.
We want them to grow up, and we want them to go out and have fun with friends and go to parties, not be stuck in the house without and lonely without friends, but we also want our babies to come home.
Organizations and family were also joined by Tennessee lawmakers in advocating for policy changes at the state level.
A vigil was here at 6 p.m. tonight at Public Square Park, where everyone placed 722 roses to represent those who were shot and killed in our city in the past decade. For now, reporting in Nashville, Kylie Walker, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Now to crisis in the classroom. Students at Appalachia High School down in Georgia will return to class on Monday for the very first time since a deadly shooting rampage on campus. In our area, another school violence threat today, this time in Fentress County. Tonight, a nonprofit offering school districts across the country a hand up to improve school safety. On the heels of the deadly school shooting in Winder, Georgia, September 4th, many are questioning the safety at schools across the country.
It was an issue that was flying under the radar a bit, just how difficult it is for under-resourced school districts in particular to get adequate mental health and school safety funding.
Omni Rommel works with the Green Lights Grant Initiative. It's a nonprofit started by actor Matthew McConaughey and his wife Camilla following the Robb Elementary School shooting in Uvalde, Texas. It works to help schools across the country access billions of dollars in federal funds to create safer classrooms.
It's the mental health component to make sure that school districts have adequate resources to deal with behavioral issues and make sure students are able to learn at their best. And it's also making sure they have a safe environment.
The money was part of a 2022 law that represented the first major federal gun safety legislation passed in decades. The Green Lights Initiative has provided grant writers to 30 school districts so far. 4 of them have secured $1.18 million in school safety and mental health grants. Mo Canaday with the National Association of School Resource Officers says these grants can be used for hard safety improvements as well as mental health care. He believes both are vital to keeping students and teachers safe.
We have got to have more professionals from a mental health standpoint in and around our schools partnering with us.
Now, the Green Lights Grants Initiative is encouraging local school districts like the ones all around Nashville to reach out. The grant money is available through 2026, and we have a link where you can get more information and apply at our website, fox17.com. Continuing with crisis in the classroom tonight, the Rutherford County School Board weighing whether to ban 7 books to comply with a new state law. But as Fox 17 News' Johnny Maffey shows us, before the vote, board members got an earful from parents.
The vote last night didn't come without an hour of discussion beforehand from parents and students and other Rutherford County residents, and it was a very passionate discussion. This topic, which has more than 2 sides, many saying, well, all of the 7 books in question should be off the shelves, others wanting to keep all of them, some saying age restrictions for some of the books that was proposed, also banning some books and not others, which is ultimately what happened. We'll hear from multiple sides now, including Lindsay Schultz, who says books are a powerful tool.
Just because these issues are uncomfortable to read about does not mean that we shouldn't. Instead, they should be used to have an open and safe discussion to further our understanding. We are marching backwards instead of going forwards.
Sexually explicit content should not be in public schools. And for anyone that will bring up the notion that we are just a bunch of book banners, number one, we're not banning books. We simply want to protect children. Number two, what's concerning is that you all think it's okay for children to be viewing pornographic content and explicit material.
That hat reading, Make America Classy Again, if you couldn't pick it up on your screen now. The board, again, voting each book individually, and a majority of them are off the shelves. In studio, Johnny Maffey, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Johnny, thank you. Crisis in the Classroom is Fox 17 News' ongoing commitment to you, our customers, to expose problems in our schools at all levels and to look for solutions. If you have a story you would like to see us cover, send an email to news@fox17.com, or of course you can phone our tip line. You see the bottom of the screen there with the number 615-266-4149. All right, let's talk about your weather. We have made it all the way to late Friday night. We've got a weekend coming up. I've seen some shots downtown. Folks are in town. The Titans have a game. What about the weather?
A lot of things going on. Last day of summer tomorrow as we start fall on Sunday.
I'm just waving goodbye.
Yeah, I know.
Long hot summer.
I mean, I don't think Mother Nature got the memo.
No, yeah.
We're still
Blowing
in the
her ear.
mid-90s.
You guys are tight.
Yes, I know. I need to write her a note, maybe. But we are going to be looking at a hot one to end the last few days here of summer. I have added some pop-up storms to the forecast for Saturday and Sunday. It's not going to be a lot, but it's worth mentioning at least. And as we get into late next week, that is going to be a time frame that we need to really keep our eye on. We'll discuss that a little bit later. Things out and about this evening, folks enjoying the evening here, and temperatures sitting in those upper 70s. With a mainly clear sky at the moment, and radar remains dry for us as well. In fact, as we head deeper into the overnight, the potential for some fog will be possible for us. It should be localized in low-lying areas, but again, will be possible with the clear sky and the very light to no wind that we have around. As far as low temperatures go for this evening, right around 70 or so here in Nashville. We'll be in the mid to lower 60s out towards the plateau. Dickson around 67, Clarksville sitting at 69 degrees. We will talk more about the potential for a few of these spot showers, and a little bit later on what we're watching closely in the Gulf, what it could mean for us later as far as rain goes, because we'll talk about it in your Fox 17 Code Red forecast.
The Secret Service admits failures from the first assassination attempt on the former president as Congress looks to act. I'm Matt Gelka in Washington, and I'll have the latest coming up.
Also, we had a costly redesign, the price tag for Tennessee's new driver's licenses, and where all that money ended up. New tonight, the U.S. Secret Service admits to failures in the July assassination attempt on former President Donald Trump in Pennsylvania. Fox 17 News' Matt Galka tonight to show us what Congress is doing with this information.
The Secret Service cited complacency, poor communication, and a lack of diligence as some of the failures from the Butler, Pennsylvania rally where the former president was almost shot and killed. The agency's acting director said they need to be more self-reliant.
As a result of these failures, what has become clear to me is we need a shift in paradigm and how we conduct our protective operations.
The yeas are 405, the nays are 0.
The House was in complete agreement, unanimously passing a bill increasing Secret Service protection for vice presidents and major presidential and vice presidential candidates. It's a direct response to the first attempt on former President Donald Trump's life back in July. But in the time it took Congress to vote on the bill, they went on a break for summer recess, and another man with a high-powered rifle was arrested in another apparent assassination attempt at a Trump golf course in Florida. That suspect, Ryan Routh, was allegedly lying in wait to attack the former president for nearly 12 hours. Missouri Republican Senator Josh Hawley says new whistleblower claims suggest the Secret Service was supposed to secure the golf course's perimeter, but did not.
I want to see the new director come out and say, we're going to make some changes around here. We're going to change our protocols. We're going to level with the American people about what happened at Butler. We're going to level with the American people about what happened over the weekend. How was that shooter allowed to stay along that fence line for 12 hours?
Shoring up the Secret Service is a rare moment of agreement among Democrats and Republicans. President Biden said last week Congress should get the agency the help they need.
The one similarity for me, at least, seems to be that the perimeter they're setting up around the former president seems to be too small. You can get too close to him, especially with the technology of weapons that are available to American people.
The acting Secret Service director said they need more resources, but it's unclear right now what the Senate will do with the House's bill, whether or not they'll add money, as Congress also tries to figure out a short-term spending plan. Reporting in Washington, I'm Matt Gelka.
It's your money, and our partners at OpenTheBooks.com say that leaders spent a pile of it on the redesign of Tennessee's driver's license. Records show that the State Department of Safety and Homeland Security paid a French company some $657,500 to come up with this, the design you see. It's fairly intricate. The intent is to make the driver's licenses harder to duplicate or fake, something this company specializes in.
There's elaborate overlapping data and graphics. It's hard to duplicate laser engraved elements that will show if the document's been altered or fraudulent. There's also artistic changes. The regional landmark buildings in the background, those are gone. Now the state flag is in the background.
Good news is the cost of this redesign is not being essentially passed directly on to drivers like you. So when you go to renew, it's still going to cost you $28. You will get this new design when your current license expires. All right, back to the weather. We talked about how Mother Nature needs a good talking to, but in the meantime, at least the weather's not going to rain on your weekend plans.
I don't think it's going to be too bad. I mentioned that spot shower chance. I wouldn't cancel your plans, but where we do end up maybe with a stray shower, consider yourself lucky.
I know, it's been so long, and if we get a little bit, it's not going to last.
No, these will be short, and I don't see them as being drought busters either. So we should see perhaps 1 or 2 showers, and then it'll move on. Pretty picture here this evening from our Nissan Stadium camera. We take a look at the records for this weekend. I think these records will hold. They should be safe, especially tomorrow's. Tomorrow is 100, and the forecast high is 94. Sunday looking at 94, 97 degrees, our record high there in 1955. Days until fall, 2 to go. Sunday will be the first official day, and temperatures both days not feeling like fall. We'll be in the mid 70s for the morning hours, up to about 90 as we head into the afternoon with mainly sunny to partly cloudy skies, and we'll continue in those low 90s as we head into the early evening, all the while looking at a mix of sun and clouds, and again that spot shower chance that'll be with us as well. Saturday and Sunday you can see 20% chance at best. Monday, same thing. We do see a better chance of showers developing as we head towards Tuesday, and that's going to be along a cold front that arrives. That one also not looking like a drought buster for us, but will bring us some chances for showers. A few showers, spot showers possible for Wednesday and Thursday, and then going into Friday, potentially looking at some rain to head our way. Next weekend's forecast is going to be pretty low confidence at this point because we will be watching this system that could develop in the Gulf. The National Hurricane Center continues to increase its potential for development, and models are also showing signs that we could see development as we head into next week. So right now we're just sort of in that watch and monitor mode. As far as this weekend goes, here's a look at future track, and as I mentioned, after lunchtime, maybe a spot shower or two developing for us here. A quick heavy pocket of rain can't be ruled out, but I'd say 20% chance of that at best through 6 p.m. and then after that things start to fall apart. We will start the day on Sunday mainly dry, but then we get into the afternoon and it is hinting at, again, the potential for a few showers, possibly even during the Titans game. So I would just keep an eye on the weather as you are getting ready to head to the game if you are doing so, and may see a rumble of thunder or a lightning strike or two, but these should not be severe. This will just be a quick heavy burst of rain if we were to see anything, and then it clears out. We'll start the day on Monday dry, and we'll do it again. A lot of this will be driven by the afternoon sunshine as we head through the afternoon and the early evening hours. Coming up, we're going to talk more about this potential for rain next week. It has at least the possibility of bringing us some much needed rainfall, but a lot like Francine, it is going to highly depend on the track once it develops. So that'll be something that we are watching for the weekend, and we'll likely have better idea by early next week. I'll show you what we know right now. That coming up a little later in your Fox 17 Code Red forecast.
Weather Window, presented by the National Weather Desk.
Heavy rain on Thursday flooded roads in Port St. Lucie, Florida, stranding many vehicles. A bear looking for a drink and a snack found both in a Johnson City, Tennessee backyard. A much-needed rainstorm produced this stunning rainbow in San Antonio. And this morning's sunrise welcomed a gorgeous day on the Maine coast.
Want to see your weather photos and videos on TV? Click Chime In on this station's website to share.
The Federal Trade Commission accusing some of the most popular social media platforms of vast surveillance. I'm Atrel Nashar with what the allegations mean for your privacy online.
This is perhaps the worst thing ever to happen to our country. We have millions of people occupying our country. It's an invasion.
What former President Donald Trump says he will do about it if you put him back in the White House in our exclusive sit-down. New tonight, a report from the Federal Trade Commission that says social media platforms are violating millions of individual users' privacy. Fox 17 News' Atra El-Nashar with that story tonight, and you can let us know what you think by scanning the QR code that will shortly appear on your screen.
A new government report details a so-called market of commercial surveillance happening right on your smartphone. This Federal Trade Commission report, 4 years in the making, alleges that between 2019 and 2020, these 9 companies collected and shared more personal information of users and non-users than many realized, had lax privacy controls, and inadequate safeguards for underage users. Their goal, the FTC says, keeping people hooked. Using their data to sell advertising services is how they can make billions off a free service. Discord said the FTC report is not accurate. X and Google, which owns YouTube, also defended their policies after the report came out. Under scrutiny from Washington, tech companies have long stood by their practices and intentions.
We built Family Center in Snapchat, where you can view who your teen is talking to, review privacy settings, and set content limits.
We give our users a lot of tools to control their privacy settings on our app.
Even the FTC acknowledges its findings are limited. They only examined how the companies operated in 2019 and 2020. Since then, platforms and business models have changed. Being behind the curve has been Congress's problem too.
Will you commit to ending Finsta?
By the time most lawmakers are up to speed on the latest platforms and how they work, let alone advance legislation to regulate it, the technology has changed.
It's long overdue, but it's just like we have to act.
Lack of regulation from Congress over the years has given these companies nearly free rein, the FTC says. Parents have also taken notice and are calling for accountability from both tech companies and Congress for the sake of this generation and the next. Because, as the FTC says, we still know so little about companies that know so much about us. On Capitol Hill, I'm Atrel Nashar reporting.
During that story, we had a QR code up linking you to this poll asking if you're concerned that social media companies may be violating your privacy. And the results show, with 280 people weighing in, on more than 9 in 10 say, yes, I'm concerned that they are invading and violating my privacy. Thanks for voting tonight. Still to come tonight, putting the brakes on street racing in Music City, how Metro Police are tackling the problem. And uncomfortable conversation, some expert advice on how to talk to your teenagers.
We know that it is happening on a regular basis.
In Operation Crime and Justice, cracking down on stuff like this, street racing. Metro Police say scenes like this are playing out all over Music City, and they say the threat to public safety is real. Fox 17 News' Caitlin Miller now with more on the police response to the Metro Street Racing Initiative.
Metro Police say that they've done 10 street racer initiatives so far this year to combat dangerous driving and meetups. Lieutenant James Williams explains street racing started happening a lot more during the pandemic. That's why he says they started their street racing initiative in 2020 to prevent this. Williams says that they use officers from the traffic division to actively seek people engaged in street racing and stop it by either making arrests or issuing tickets depending on the violation. Williams explains that people can be charged with a felony, misdemeanor. People can also lose their driver's license or have their vehicle impounded. He emphasizes it's a huge threat, so they are taking enforcement action very seriously.
It's extremely dangerous because when they block a large intersection, that makes it hard for anyone to even get out of that area if they don't want to be there. And they kind of get stuck in a spot where they could be injured when someone loses control of their vehicle or drives through at a high rate of speed.
Williams says the state now has a street racing task force. He says they are working with lawmakers to create better laws for the types of situations they are seeing on the streets. Moving forward, Metro Police say that they will make this a top priority and will continue to make arrests to hold these dangerous drivers accountable. Reporting from downtown, I'm Caitlin Miller, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
In health news tonight, some expert advice on how to have those uncomfortable conversations with your children, from sex to drugs to even mental health. Fox 17 News' Amanda Chin now with some tips to get your kids to open up.
We're all busy and have to contend with modern day technologies, but staying connected with children is one of the best things a parent can do.
I have 3 teenage girls, and it is the best part of my life. But I also know how hard it can be sometimes to get kids to talk about their feelings.
A recent CDC survey found nearly 77% of parents believe their teens always have the social and emotional support they need, but only about 28% of teens agreed with that.
Close emotional relationships between parents and teens are associated with all kinds of long-term benefits: improved mental and general health, less dangerous behavior like substance abuse.
Dr. Sanjay Gupta says there are prompts to help get preteens and teens to open up.
Maybe ask teens for their internal weather report or what weather pattern best reflects how they feel at the time. You can also ask them what song or movie describes their mood. Maybe ask about the high and low points of their day.
When connecting with teens, the CDC says to also engage in active listening, find out more about what they like and why, and be the person they trust and want to come to when they need an adult.
The goal here is to build a safe and supportive space where people can be vulnerable. So do respect any boundaries and be patient.
Amanda Chin, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
In other health news tonight, another reason to ditch the alarm clock on the weekends. A new study says more sleep could help to lower your risk for heart disease. In fact, researchers found people who sleep the most on the weekends are 19% less likely to develop heart disease than people with the least amount of sleep. U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention recommends that adults in this country get at least 7 hours of sleep per night. Which brings us to the subject of tonight's Fox 17 viewer poll, Sleep on X. How much sleep do you get at night? Let's see, 8 hours, 20.3%. 7 hours, 31.8%. 6 hours, 30.7%. So really fairly evenly distributed there. Less than 6, look at that. These are the superheroes, 17.2%. But according to the doctors, you're not helping yourself. That's on, let's see, 296 votes. Poll's still live right now. To cast your vote, you can scan the QR code there on the right-hand side of your screen. Let us know how much you're sleeping, and we will update these results toward the end of the newscast. Katie?
Scott, as we head through the evening hours tonight, we are going to be looking at a mainly clear sky that will give way to a little bit of fog for tomorrow morning. You notice from the radar, though, we are not finding much in the way of rain here. Now, as we get into the afternoon and into the evening for Saturday and Sunday, perhaps a spot shower out there, but nothing that'll be a drought buster for us. The big story is going to continue to be the heat. As we look through your hour-by-hour forecast, we will climb into those low 90s heading into the afternoon. Heat index values for tomorrow may actually be a story for us as well. We take a look here. It's not going to be overly oppressive, but with temperatures in the mid-90s, it just takes a little bit of humidity to get those numbers close to 100. This is 12 noon, upper 90s as how it feels. We may see a few places like Hopkinsville, Bowling Green, Clarksville touch 100, but that should be about where we end up. So upper 90s will be what it feels like as we go through the afternoon hours on Saturday as well as Sunday. We'll talk more about the potential for rain later next weekend coming up in your Fox 17 Code Red forecast. Scott?
Katie, thank you. An exclusive sit down. How former President Donald Trump says he will tackle border security if you put him back in the Oval Office. And turning a tough journey into a positive future, a cancer survivor's mission to help others. Sunday morning on Full Measure, an exclusive sit-down interview with former President Donald Trump. Our Cheryl Atkinson is pressing the Republican presidential nominee on how he plans to tackle border security if you send him back to the White House.
You have to have a mass deportation program. That's right. And you know what? When you say that, everyone's going to stop coming. You know, one of the reasons I was successful is they knew it was going to be very, very hard to come in, because when I was elected, I said, we're not going to have anybody coming in illegally into our country. And we went through a long period of time where that statement really resonated, and it resonated strongly. Then we built almost 500 miles of wall. We had tremendous success with the wall. This is a tragedy. This is perhaps the worst thing ever to happen to our country. We have millions of people occupying our country. It's an invasion.
And you can hear the rest of Cheryl Atkinson's exclusive interview with Mr. Trump on Full Measure. That is Sunday morning right here on Fox 17 at 7:30 a.m. Also looking ahead to Sunday morning, earlier than that show, Nashville in Focus, when topics for our panel will include a proposal by Tennessee State Senator Mark Pody to earmark another $3 billion a year in the budget for state road projects.
Mark Pody is doing a pretty smart thing, and it sounds like to me somebody that has ambitions. He's taken a page out of the playbook of the Michigan governor who ran on fix the damn roads.
I think we can get behind that one. Now, other topics for our panel include the Metro Council rubber stamping this week, the mayor's 4 bills to regulate hate, and Congressman Andy Ogle's campaign finances. That is Sunday morning at 6:30 a.m. right here on Fox 17 on Nashville in Focus. Looking ahead to Saturday morning now, a programming note. We're going to start a college football triple header for you. It is Marshall taking on Ohio State at 11 o'clock. In the afternoon game, 3 p.m., the Utah Utes battling the Oklahoma State Cowboys. And in the nightcap, the 7 o'clock game, prime time, the Baylor Bears taking on Deion Sanders and the Colorado Buffaloes. And then on Sunday, we have got an NFL doubleheader that you can catch here on Fox 17. Starts off with the Tennessee Titans taking on the Green Bay Packers. A tough test. Kickoff here noon on Fox 17. Katie will be at the stadium doing live weather. Then at 3:25 in the afternoon, it is Baltimore, the Ravens taking on the Cowboys of Dallas.
Now here's a look at some of the headlines you should be keeping an eye on as NASCAR heads to the cutoff for the first round of the playoffs in Bristol. A non-playoff driver stole a win at Watkins Glen this past weekend. Given the big-name drivers out of the playoffs this year, can we expect more of that in the final 8 races?
It's hard to say. I mean, from a schedule standpoint, I love the variety. I think you have to have the variety in our playoffs because that's what our season is. Our season has a complete variety of different styles of racetracks, and it rewards a different style of driver. And to have a complete champion in NASCAR, you at least have to be good at every type of racetrack.
Some playoff favorites find themselves in trouble heading into Bristol. So how will they approach this race?
Certainly, we're in a more tough, precarious spot than what we had planned on. So it's going to be important that we execute a good Atlanta race. There's no question about it.
And the last time NASCAR was in Bristol, the talk was all about tires. Will we get more of the same on Saturday night?
No rain. They run an ARCA race, a truck race, an Xfinity race on Thursday, Friday. Again, on Saturday, that track is going to be really rubbered up. So that in itself is going to help the tires have better wear.
You can hear more of my conversation with Austin Cindric as well as our expert Chris Carrier on the Backstretch podcast. You can find that on Apple Podcasts and on YouTube. On the Backstretch, I'm Heather Williams.
Coming soon, when the city's newest live music venue will be ready for you.
And we'll talk more about what is happening in the Gulf, what could develop, and where it may move. It's all coming up in your Fox 17 Code Red forecast.
Looking ahead now to Nashville's newest live music venue. It's bigger than all the clubs in the downtown area and really not far away from them. Fox 17 News' Madeline Nolan tonight with a construction update on the Pinnacle at Nashville Yards.
The Nashville Yards are really starting to come together, but it is this building directly behind me known as the Pinnacle, a brand new music venue that is coming, and it is underway. You can see all the construction happening now. A brand new space that's going to be opening next year with concerts beginning in March. Now the Pinnacle will be able to hold up to 4,500 people, both standing or seated. But the completed space will again be located right here in the Nashville Yards, which is a walkable urban community with a variety of things to do.
We're right in the middle between Pinnacle Bank, between 2 residential towers. There'll be some hotels coming. They already have the Grand Hyatt, but it's just really centrally located. And then underneath the venue, it sits on the 2nd floor. So underneath the venue, you'll have restaurants, retail, bars, different activations and things like that will kind of tie it all together. And the venue will pull people into that beyond just the residential and the office spaces. There's going to be a pull for entertainment. So it's kind of exciting to be in the center of all that's coming together there.
A lot to expect in the next year, but a few concerts have already been announced for March, including Megan Maroney, Journey, and T-Pain. Now, tickets for all of the concerts currently listed on the calendar go on sale today. And now I am told that a few more concerts will be announced on Monday, along with a grand opening date. So be on the lookout for that. For now, here in Nashville, Madeline Nolan, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Overnight, a little bit of fog possible for us. Otherwise, we will start the weekend on a quiet note. A warm note as well, with temperatures only dropping to the low 70s for tomorrow morning. Today, officially in the 90s, so we add another 90-degree day to the list of days above 90 for 2024. We're at 68 days now. Our average is 49, so well above average there. Well above average in our 95-degree areas as well. In fact, I might actually add a day today because we did get up to the mid-90s this afternoon. Case in point, it has been a hot summer as we officially close the door on summer with fall starting on Sunday. As far as Sunday goes, the Titans in town taking on Green Bay Packers coming into town here, and temperatures are going to be in those 90s. So really looking like a warm game. And I can't rule out a spot shower or two for the game. Most of it, I think, will get by just fine. Will be dry, but one or two showers can't be ruled out. Again, those highs, though, looking quite toasty in the low 90s, especially with that sunshine around. All right, let's talk about what's going on here in the next several days in the tropics. This is an area that the National Hurricane Center has had an eye on, and really all meteorologists over the past 10 days, it seems like, leading up to when this might be. So really for the past couple of days, we've started to really hone in on the potential for something happening here. 60% chance now, so going up a little bit each day, and it is possible that we could find something in the Gulf. This is a look at our steering currents over the next few days here as we head into next week. This is looking at Thursday, in fact. Big area here of high pressure off the coast of the Carolinas. This is going to help steer what may end up becoming our next tropical system here out of the Gulf. Notice how those winds are bringing it right into the Gulf of Mexico here, potentially into portions of Florida and into Alabama. That's how these hurricanes are driven. And this model in particular does bring in a tropical system here into the Gulf, somewhat close to that path of where Francine may landfall. It's a little bit to the east here. But this one we'll need to keep an eye on because some models do hint at the potential for some rain here in Middle Tennessee. Now, again, with Francine, that track shifted a little bit and it took a lot of the rain with it for a lot of folks here in Middle Tennessee. So there's still a lot of time between now and then to iron out details on what we may or may not see. Timing right now, I would put it next weekend. So it'll be about this time next weekend that we are discussing what may be our next named storm, which would be Helene.
We've had the privilege of following her cancer journey. I'm Liz Bonus. She's just out of surgery, and now what she wants other survivors to know. It is just ahead.
Also coming up, Music City living up to its name this weekend. The plans for a free stage show downtown and the big musical acts you can see courtesy of Tootsie's. In health news tonight, a breast cancer survivor finds a new purpose after a challenging recovery. Fox 17 medical reporter Liz Bonus sharing her journey to better health.
Hey there, everybody. We do want to let you know that we are going to show you some medically graphic photos as part of this report. But this is Krista Powers, just out of surgery to rebuild her breasts after a cancer diagnosis more than a year ago. When we first met Krista shortly after diagnosis in this Kentucky park, she told us,
"It's bubbles of calm and bubbles of panic."
She has shared with us her victories and her scars of when her breasts were first removed, leaving her cancer-free.
I believe so much in the power of prayer, and that has carried me through.
Those prayers, she says, never more welcome than in a 13-hour surgery just days ago, when a team led by Dr. Douglas Dembinski of Ohio's UC Health helped rebuild Krista's breasts.
She had a
deep flap breast reconstruction, where we use the skin and fat from the abdomen to reconstruct breasts in patients that have lost their breasts as a result of breast cancer surgery.
This is Krista now.
It's taken a whole team to get me to this day 10 post reconstruction, post the past year plus of lots of hard days.
Krista's parents have been there for those hard days. After 54 years of marriage, they still say they learned caring for Krista.
When we cry, to know that we're closest to praying and being near God if we just pay attention and listen.
The piece that I think was most important for me as a parent is to listen. My initial response is I wanted to fix. I wanted to tell her what to do. I wanted all the things I wanted to do. But in reality, this is Krista's journey.
A journey where Krista says she's learned good health is beautiful.
It's so wild, Liz, that it took cancer for me to love my body as deeply as I've loved it, the deepest in 46 years of life.
Quite a lesson for all of us, isn't it? With your health news, I'm Liz Bonus reporting.
Liz, thank you. Quite the journey. Well, Nashville's most iconic honky-tonk downtown is celebrating a milestone this weekend. When we come back, we'll tell you who is performing at Tootsie's big birthday bash on Broadway. A lot of bees there. Earlier in the newscast, we told you about the Fox 17 News question of the day on X, where we're essentially asking how many hours of sleep you get a night. Doctors say you need to get at least 7. 31.9% of our viewers say, yeah, we get that. 20% say, I do better than that. I get 8. But 30%, a little over that, say we only get 6. And nearly 17% of the 300 people who weighed in says, I get less than 6. Our thanks for all who took time to vote. Be sure to watch for a new poll on the Fox 17 X page tomorrow. All right, here it is, folks. Looking ahead to another big day on Broadway downtown, Tootsie's Orchid Lounge, celebrating its 64th birthday. Not tomorrow, but Sunday. This legendary venue, just right across the alley from the Grand Ole Opry House, is treating you, all of us really, to a free live music show all day long. The performers will include, we're talking big stars, folks, Jake Owen, Randy Houser, love him, Jamie Johnson, along with performances by several of the regular house bands that keep the music playing at the big honky-tonks downtown all year round. And some of those bands in a couple of years will be the new big hot band. They're going to be picking and singing from 11 in the morning till 11 at night on a special stage. Remember, the Titans are playing on Sunday too, so if you're going to get down there, find a place to park, show up early.
It'll be a busy day for sure. And looking hot for the Titans game and for the Big Bash.
All right, let's hope the Titans can get it done against the Packers. Thanks for being with us tonight. See you next week.